So anyway, you want to go ahead and move into your main topic?
Yep. So, my main topic today, guys, which effect is the most timeless?
Okay.
And there's one conclusion I came up with. Slide guitar. That's an effect in my book. It's how you approach a guitar. But since the dawn of the slide,
Mm-hmm.
from Robert Johnson to now, it's still awesome.
Yeah.
From Robert Johnson to Derek Trucks to the slide that we know now, it's the best type of effect, I think, that has ever happened to guitar.
You know what? We definitely we don't see differently on this, but I think you see it more passionately than I do. Because you're a slide player,
Of course.
and I'm not.
Even if you're not, make a case for something better.
I don't think you can. I think you're right. I just think you're more passionate about it than I am.
Okay.
And I don't mean that bad.
Do you know Dylan Adams?
I don't think so.
I hope I got his name right.
The name sounds familiar, so I think you did.
He's well, he's on Instagram. I don't know if he's probably on TikTok or whatever, but he's on YouTube. He's a phenomenal slide player. All right, I would say a newer style of Derek Trucks.
Oh, he's just as good as Derek Trucks, you said?
He's phenomenal. I'm not saying he's just as good, but he's got a different pizzazz to him. I don't know how to explain.
I need to listen to him.
He's probably got some different mojo to him.
My mojo.
But he's a great slide player. And I was thinking, like, here's this new guy coming out, playing slide. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves the slide. Who doesn't like the slide?
I think there was a small time period that it was not popular.
When?
I think from like the mid 90s kind of grunge era, I think up until like
Jack White would say different with the White Stripes.
early 2000s.
Jack White used it.
Yeah, and you think of like Soundgarden, you slide a little bit, right? That was like mid 90s and stuff. And it was definitely in there a little bit. Yeah, maybe you're right. It's hard to think about like something that's more timeless than the slide.
I think it is. I'm just trying to make a strong case for it to validate myself. But no, I'm just kidding. I think the slide, seriously, it's one of those features that you can buy for a guitar that everyone can get along with. Everyone, now, granted, that's if you're a decent slide player, because if you're not, just leave it at home. It's kind of like playing the violin. Like, if you can't play it, just don't.
What do you do to practice to get better? You just sound like a cat for a while is all you gotta do, right?
Well, I'm not a fantastic slide player, but I can make some sounds.
Yeah.
But like, I think the slide is one of those things that just won't go away with guitar.
No, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. And I do think it's pretty timeless. You think of, early blues recordings. And then you think of like the 70s with Skynyrd and all that stuff going on into the 80s.
Well, and then you got steel guitar, and you can kind of get some things out of that.
Oh, yeah, it's so cool. And I think now probably slide has came back stronger now than it has been since the 70s. Maybe even the 60s. Between guys like Rhett Shull is a big slide player. Right, a YouTube guy. What's the guy's name? Ariel Posen. He's a huge slide player. Obviously, Derek Trucks is hugely famous for playing slide. You start thinking about some of these people, and they're just amazing slide players. And it's probably more popular now than it has been in, I don't know, 20, 30 years. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it is.
I think so. Yeah, slide, I think, is just one of those things. I do have a passion for it because I think Duane Allman, in my book, was the best slide player to get emotion out of the guitar.
Yeah.
And to me, there's really not much better of an example of making a vocal sound out of the guitar than using a slide.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. And like J.D. Simo as a player, whenever you start talking about Duane, I immediately think about J.D. Simo because he's so good at that like expressive vocal sound. Just love hearing him play slide. There's a lot of great players like that too. But yeah, I think you're right. I think probably slide. We do agree on this. You're right.
Yeah.
I think slide is probably the most timeless, like effect, if you want to call it effect, technique, whatever you want to call it. Technique, it definitely is the most timeless technique.
Yeah.
I think without a doubt, it's the most timeless technique.
A lot more than tapping.
A lot more than tapping, more than sweep picking,
Yep.
more than all that wild stuff out there, which also has its place and is cool. It definitely is more timeless, though.
Yep.
Man, I probably should practice slide more.
You need to.
You're making me think about it now.
I'm gonna convert him.
Oh, it's gonna sound awful for a while though.
That's
folks.
fine. Just practice not around me.
Fair enough. I'll get my mojo on the slide together.
All right, we need to end this episode. So,
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Put your comments down below. We'll see you then.
see you guys.